One of the defining features of clown world is how we use clowns for propaganda. I mean, regimes have always used propaganda, but it's usually through the media, movies, television propaganda. Intellectuals will go out and explain a policy that's bullshit. But now we use clowns, comedians, court gestures that have no idea what they're saying because they're just reading a cue card. But, oh, I'm funny. And this is how a lot of people get their opinions. We see this with like Jon Stewart, Stephen Corbett, and here is Noah Trevor. He's trying to explain why unearned capital gains tax is actually a good idea. Let's watch it and critique it.
Argue that you cannot tax billionaires on the shares that they hold in a company because it is an unrealized gain, right? So they go like, yeah, you're worth 300 billion, but we can't tax you on those stocks because you haven't sold the shares. So you don't like have the money, right? But you're worth the money, but you don't have the money. And I understand the argument. They go like, no, you don't have it. It's just what it's worth because it could also crash and then you have nothing. So we can't tax you on it. Then I'm like, okay, I understand that. So you can't tax the people on a thing because they don't have it.
All right, here's the first error he's making. He's setting up the joke, or at least the writer set up the joke. And they're setting up the premise you can't tax unearned capital gains because you don't have it. Well, no one's saying you don't have the stock or the property. That's not what people are saying. I mean, the government can tax whatever they want. The government could say, hey, we're going to tax you breathing. If you breathe, we're going to tax based on how much air you breathe in. I mean, it'd be stupid, but you could do that. So yeah, sure, you could tax unearned, unrealized capital gains. Sure, you can do it, but the question is it wise? It's not that see, he tries to set it up in such a way that we're saying that he says billionaires, by the way, but part of the problem is that we'll start with billionaires, sort of like the income tax was originally, then keep going down, 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 and down, and pretty soon you'll be paying it like on your home. But the idea is like, oh, well, see, they're saying they don't really own this thing. No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying it's just not a good idea. So let's continue.
It's just there. Okay, fine. Then Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter. And then he says in his offer, he goes, I'm putting up my Tesla stock as collateral. Then I'm like, so you do have it?
Right. And the audience is laughing because right before it, these evil billionaires are saying they don't really have it, so they can't get taxed on it. But then when they want to get collateral, they're saying they have it. Yeah, that's the joke. But it's stupid because he's not saying that. No one's saying that. Of course he has the stock and the stock is valued at a certain amount. That's not the point. The point is it wise to tax that? Or what will happen if you do tax it? That's the whole point. So he set up a false premise that they don't really have it. People are saying they don't really have it. Of course you have it. If you have the stocks, now the value may go up and down, but you do have a stock and it's worth a certain value. And when you talk about collateral, well, yeah, that's, for example, when you buy a home, your property and your down payment is collateral. But the idea is that you're not going to have to use the collateral. That's like the worst case scenario. You can't make your payments. The bank can go ahead and take your property and keep your down payment. And that's for a way for them to mitigate the risk so they don't have as much risk. But the idea is for you to pay it off. That's what they want because then they get the interest. That's what you want. So that's the goal. So in the case of Elon Musk, the idea when he used his Tesla stock as collateral wasn't to sell the stock. The idea was, hey, worst case scenario, if I can't make my payments, you can take my stock. But I don't think that's going to be the case because I'm going to turn a profit and I will pay you back every month. That kind of simplifies it, but that's what it is. So this Trevor Noah is confusing the issue here.
Then he's like, no, I don't have it.
No, he's not saying he doesn't have it. No one ever said that.
I don't have it. I'm just going to say as collateral. So then they accept the offer. He now buys Twitter. Now that they've accepted his offer, he now goes to private equity and banks and like other rich people and whatever. He goes like, can you guys borrow me the money to buy Twitter. And then he's like, I want to buy Twitter because I don't want to sell any of my Tesla shares. So I want to use your money to buy Twitter. And then it's like, but then they're like, what are we loaning it against? And he's like, well, my Tesla shares. Then I'm going like, wait. So you can buy a thing based on what you have. Yes. But when we want to tax you, you can say, I don't have it.
But that's not the point. He's not saying he doesn't have it. See, this is where they set up a false premise. So yeah, obviously, for example, when you buy a house, you put up collateral. You could even put up stocks. I think I did, but I make my payments, so I don't expect to ever lose my stocks with that. That's collateral. But it's not saying you don't have it. The problem is if he's going to be taxed on unrealized capital gains, well, and not just Elon Musk, but all these people, how will they deal with this situation? Well, they have to sell because they don't have the money in the bank. So he would have to sell Tesla stock. When you sell, more people are selling than buying. What happens to the price? It goes down. And if you do this across the whole market, this is a great way to crash the market. And you can say, oh, this is just for billionaires. Yeah. But if you invest in, have a 401k, or you invest in stocks or whatever asset, Bitcoin, whatever, people are not going to invest in assets because of this unrealized capital gains tax, and they're going to get out of these assets. Because when you invest, you could always just buy treasury bills and get 5% interest, guaranteed, no risk. So why invest in stock? The only reason you invest in stock is because you think you're going to get a higher rate of return. But if you're going to get taxed on that, that makes it not as favorable anymore. So you're less likely to invest in the stock market, of Bitcoin or whatever, and then it crashes the markets and it makes us all poor. That's why, Trevor Noah, this is a stupid idea. It's not because anyone's saying they don't have the asset. Of course they have the asset. The question is it good to tax it? Now, of course, Trevor, he doesn't understand this. He's just reading a cue card. But this is how they try to make a joke out of something based on a false premise, based on people's stupidity. This is, again, why most people shouldn't vote. Talk to you guys later.